So the things I guess I'm most passionate about, one is music, of course. Another is technology. I really enjoy technology as a tool, a way of communicating, using technology to make everyday things happen more easily. But the thing that I really enjoy the most is teaching. There's something about seeing that light bulb go off in a student's head when they finally get something, get a concept or get a skill. In terms of directing music, I really enjoy the process of going from really awkward notes and rhythms and text to a point where the piece is polished and ready for performance. If you told my parents back when I was in middle school and high school that eventually I was going to be a teacher, they probably would have laughed out loud. I was a pretty quiet and shy kid, rarely put two words together unless I was asked. I didn't volunteer a lot of conversation. So to think of the fact that I would be standing in front of large groups of people in a classroom or in a concert setting and talking would have flabbergasted them. I was just didn't seem to be wired that way. God did gift me with a skill, I would say, that's probably most important for teaching, and that is patience. I tend to have a lot of patience, whether it be for students who are more challenging, talkative, troublemakers, so to speak, for other teachers in traditional classes. I tend to allow a lot of things to roll off of my shoulders, and I kind of hang in there longer than a lot of people might. And eventually those students tend to come around. So God has blessed me with the talent and the gifts that I've needed to be successful in teaching. As a public school teacher, of course, I'm not allowed to share my faith directly with students. But there's a scripture in Matthew chapter 25 that I use as an example for the way I interact with my students on a daily basis. It says, "For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. I needed clothes and you clothed me. I was sick and you looked after me. I was in prison and you came to visit me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you like this?" The king will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." So as I said, I can't share my faith directly with my students, but I can be there for them when they're having difficulty. We have a lot of students at my school who come from broken homes or don't have parents. They live with their grandparents or aunts or uncles. We also have some students who are in poverty and some that are even homeless. And of course, we have those kids in our school that are just behavior problems. So I've had an opportunity from time to time to advocate for a kid in a special ed meeting, for instance, when their parent doesn't show up because they're not interested, or they just don't have one to show up. I've had an opportunity to sit with that kid on their behalf and advocate for their needs. I've also been on cafeteria duty from time to time, and I've seen kids sitting in the cafeteria without any food. Now, if you walk up to any one of them and ask them why they aren't eating, the typical answer is, "Well, I'm just not hungry." But if you delve a little bit deeper, that kid will tell you, "I just don't have any money to eat today." And it seems like a simple thing, but at times like that, I've had an opportunity just to take out a couple of dollars and give it to the kids so that they've had something to eat. And lastly, for those behavior problem kids or those challenging kids, my room, I think, has been a safe place for a lot of them, to a point where the guidance department seems to give me more than the average. A lot of those kids will get thrown out of their traditional classes pretty quickly for their behaviors. But again, God has gifted me with a lot of patience, and they've found more success in my class I've allowed a lot of things to roll off of my back that other teachers would jump at and get upset about. And eventually, those kids come around. They start to realize that you're there for them, that you're patient with them, that you're caring for them. And I've found a lot of success with that kind of kid. I would say if you're going to pray, pray for our kids directly, the kids in our community. They have it tough, they really do. Now, when we were in school, we dealt with some of the same things, the peer pressure, the bullying at times. Those things are still there. But on top of that, there are health problems for our kids. It seems like every kid is allergic to something. There's mental illness, mental health problems. We have tons of kids that are dealing with anxiety on a daily basis, to a point where they don't even want to get out of bed in the morning. Also add on top of that, that some of these kids are coming from homes where they can't even get a good night's sleep the night before. And then they come into school dragging because they were out on the street or they were living in a car, and we're asking them to focus on math and English. They've got it tough, they really do. So I would say pray for the kids of our community.